Hello, my name is Laura and I work for Essex County Fire and Rescue Service. I also work in collaboration with Essex Police. My job on a day-to-day is to go around delivering an array of different topics to different children, aged range from reception right up to years 10 and 11. Today we are going to be looking at Years 3 Home Fire Safety Programme, and our learning objectives today are to understand how we can prevent fires within our home, and right at the end of the presentation we're also going to look at a little bit of strange danger, so how to keep ourselves safe within our home. So first of all, I want you to think about all of the different hazards that you have around your house. So I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds to have a think about what's sitting around you now, and there are lots and lots of clues up on the board. So I want you to think about at night time when you're sitting with your adults at home, do they light candles? Do you have the oven cooking your tea? Do you use the toaster in the morning to make your breakfast? All of these things that you can see up on the board, plus extras that you can think of that you may have at home, could potentially cause a hazard and cause a fire. So up here you can see that we have tea lights and we have normal candles as well. Both of these do exactly the same thing. We also have what's over here is a lighter, okay? We have matches, a toaster, as we've already said, and also an oven. So I want you to think about how they could potentially be dangerous. And what I want you to also think about now is why us at the fire service prefer these candles over the ones that are up on the board. Just want you to think about that for a minute. Okay, so when we light our candles inside here, they are protected by the glass around the outside. When we pop our candles out, when our adults pop our candles out at home, we can pop the lid on. It stops oxygen from getting to the flame of the candle, and the candle is put out safely. I really need you to make sure, Year 3, that when you are at home with your adults, if you ever see tea lights or candles unattended, I do not want you to go anywhere near them. I don't want you to touch these trays because they can get very hot. But instead what I want you to do is go and tell your adults and remind them that there is a candle lit and that they can come and put it out safely. I also want you to remember that ovens can never be left unattended, and I know that adults at home get really busy and there's lots and lots of jobs to be done in the afternoons and the evenings, but if you do ever see your oven at home left unattended, you need to go and get them to tell them to turn it off, or at least to have an eye on it, okay? Because again, these can get really hot. They can go up to about 220 degrees, and that is extremely hot, so you never go near that, and we need to make sure that our adults are keeping an eye on our food cooking. And again, with our toasters, if you're anything like me and you like a chunky piece of toast in the morning, if that chunky piece of toast gets wedged within that toaster may not be able to pop up, and then that can also cause a fire. At the bottom of our toasters we have lots of crumbs that build up, so what I want you to do is remind your adults at home that those trays at the base of the toaster has to be emptied on a regular basis. Last but not least, if Year 3 we see these two things laying around, I want you to go grab your adults and get them to pop them away safely, because I know for sure that you would know that they are dangerous, but you might have younger siblings at home that might decide to play around with matches and lighters, and that could cause a serious accident. So moving on slightly, I'm sure at least a few of you watching this have laptops, mobile phones that you're allowed to use under adult supervision. You may play with PlayStations, Game Boys, etc. at home. What I really need you to be made aware of is that if these products get overheated, they can also too cause a fire. So it is very important that when you are playing on your PlayStation, that you must have a break, leave it, let it cool down, and then come back to playing it, because when you hear that little fan spinning around in the back of that machine, that means that the machine is getting very hot, so it needs time to cool down. With your mobile phones and your iPads, when you are charging them at home, I want you to just think about now where you're charging them. Do you charge them, do you plug them in, chuck them on the floor and let them charge on the hot fluffy carpet? Do you sling your mobile phone or your iPad at the bottom of your bed? Something that's very important, Year 3, is that if you are charging your mobile phone or your iPad, it needs to be laid on a flat surface, on something that is solid, that doesn't get too hot. So things such as your kitchen worktop, a wooden table, a bedside table, absolutely fine. That is where I want you to be charging your electronic devices. but I do not want you to put them on anything soft and fluffy. Your jumpers after you've taken them off after school, I don't want you charging them on there, because around the edge of the phone there are lots and lots and lots of little air vents, and if we pop that on the carpet or on a jumper and it gets overheated, that too can cause a fire, and that is very dangerous. So please remember that when you're charging your mobile phones or your iPads, to leave them on a hard surface, okay? So we are now going to watch our friends Freddie and Filbert and Penelope. Freddie, Filbert and Penelope are fire extinguishers, and I want you to pay really close attention to everything that they all do in this next video clip.
Remember what I said, Filbert. You're not supposed to say anything about Penelope's birthday.
Why is that, Freddie?
Because we've got a surprise present for her.
Do you mean those nice plates and cups and things we bought, Freddie?
That's right, Filbert. It's just as well we've hidden them in the spare room. Penelope doesn't know a thing about them.
It'll be a surprise then.
Yes, Filbert, that's the whole point. Now remember, not a word. Shh.
My new hair straightener works a treat. Got to look my best for my birthday. I wonder what Freddie and Filbert have got for me. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, hi Freddie and Filbert. I'm just going out shopping for a while. What do you think of my new look?
Oh, very nice, Penelope. Have a good time out now.
Bye-bye, Penelope. Watch out for surprises. It's finished, Freddie!
It certainly is, Filbert. It certainly is. It's all right. It's just settling, I think. You know, all this cooking has made me feel rather sleepy. I wouldn't mind having a quick nap before Penelope gets back.
Can I play with my computer games for a bit then, Freddie?
All right, Filbert. But keep the noise down, will you, so I can get some sleep? Just a quick 40 winks, I think.
Computer games. For power. Snap! Oh no! Oh, my plugs are on fire! Fire, Freddie! It's a fire!
What's happening? What's that smell? Oh no, the pan! It's on fire! Why didn't the smoke alarm work? Fire, Filbert! Fire! And to think we're supposed to be fire extinguishers, Filbert.
Okay then, year 3, so how good were they at being fire extinguishers? How many things did you see go wrong during Freddie, Filbert and Penelope's clip? So let's go through some of them then. So we had quite a few different things go wrong. There were things missing in the kitchen, which is really, really important. Do you know what one of these is? That's right, it's a smoke alarm. Okay, so Freddie and Filbert's smoke alarm was not working because they did not replace the batteries. We will talk about smoke alarms a little bit later. Also, during playing the video games, we came across extension leads and overplugged sockets. So, do you, year 3, have any of these at home? Now, unfortunately, us at the fire service, we really don't like these, just purely because so many people overload them. They pop this into the wall socket, they will then plug one in here and another block adapter on top, and then they will continue to overload their plug sockets. So they may charge their mobile phone as well as having their computer on, and then they might even have their PlayStation plugged into this as well. Now, what do you think can happen? This can get really, really hot, and once it gets hot, it starts to melt, and that could then potentially lead to another fire. Now, anybody know what this is called? This is an extension lead. Now, it's good to say that we really like these extension leads at Essex County Fire and Rescue Service. We find these much safer to use. So we can pop in 4 plugs. I still would like you to only put 3 in. It's good to leave 1 empty, but that's just my advice for you. But these are much, much safer. The only thing I need you to look out for when you are using an extension lead is if you see the coloured wires coming out here. So if you can see coloured wires on show, then I need you to unplug this bit from the wall, switch it off, unplug it, tell your adults. Because if you see any exposed wires here, that could again potentially lead to a fire, which is dangerous. But other than that, we really, really like these at the fire service, so we'd much rather you use these than a little one like this, like a block adapter. So now you are a little bit more aware of the hazards around the house, and what I would like you to do is go and wander around your household safely, just looking for different electrical appliances that may cause a fire. I also want you to have a little look around the kitchen, see what's going on in there, look around your bedrooms. Do you use bedside lamps at home? Do you have a mobile phone? Do you use hair straighteners, boys and girls? Up here, I'm going to give you just a minute or so to have a look around our hazards page. Now, there are 8 hazards to find on here, so I'm just going to give you a minute to have a look and see if you can spot them, and then I'm going to give you the answers after. So try and have a look all the way around the picture, year 3, on the bed, on the floor, what's plugged in at the wall under the telly. Giving you little clues here. Just see if you can find any. Do we mix fizzy drinks and electricals together? Yes or no? Okay, hopefully you would have got some by now. So I'm just going to pop some circles around our 8 hazards. So here you are, here they go. So as you can see, we've circled the hair straighteners. If these are on, we do not put them on fluffy surfaces, just like when we are charging our mobile phones and our iPads. If they are hot and they are on and they are not cooled down, that will cause a fire on your bed. So talking of electrical items over here, as I said earlier on year 3, we don't want iPads and mobile phones charging on the floor. Fluffy carpets, lots of heat, lots of warmth, creates a fire. Moving up from there, remember our block adapters that I was just talking to you about. What do we prefer? We prefer extension leads. We don't particularly like block adapters. So as you can see over here, there is lots going on in those block adapters. They are really overloaded, dangerous. As I did give you a little bit of a clue, we've got the fizzy drink sitting next to the laptop, and then one that lots of children tend to not find is over here. Someone has chucked their t-shirt or chucked a cloth over the lamp. Now, with lamps, bedside lamps, table lamps, they have a hole in the top of the lampshade for a reason. The hole in the top of the lampshade is there to allow heat from the bulb to escape. If we cover the top of the lampshade up, we are preventing that heat from escaping, again causing a fire. Last but not least, we've got beautiful candles sitting on a window ledge. If our windows are open and our curtains are blowing, again, big fire. So hopefully you found those 8 hazards, Year 3. Smoke alarms. As I said, we were going to come back to smoke alarms. So, smoke alarms range in different forms. They look slightly different, but they all do a very important job. So these ones here are the ones that the fire service fit. So it's exactly what I've got here in my hand. If we move along, we have got these 2 here are both shop bought from hardware stores. This one here works for people with hard of hearing. So maybe somebody who's older, maybe somebody who has a hearing aid as they suffer with a hearing impairment. This piece goes up on the ceiling, as do this piece and this piece here. Then this bit goes underneath the person's pillow at night, and if this smoke detector smells or senses heat, flame or smokes, then it will send a message through to this piece here, and it will vibrate under the person's head. It's very important, Year 3, that you know that smoke alarms act as an extra nose. When we go to sleep at night, all of our senses go to sleep as well, okay, apart from our ears. So when we are fast asleep at night, dreaming lovely dreams, our nose also takes a rest, and our nose can't smell anything. So if we were to have a fire in our home, we would not smell it. And this is why, Year 3, it's very important that you have a smoke alarm fitted. So your first piece of homework for me today is to ensure that you get your adults to check that you have smoke alarms. And if you don't, I will tell you where you can get them from in a minute. So, do you live in a flat? If you live in a flat, you must have 1 smoke alarm. If you live in a house with 1 set of stairs, you need to have 2 smoke alarms. If you live in a castle with 10 flights of stairs, how many smoke alarms do you think you need, Year 3? It's 10, okay? You must have 10. So the idea is you have 1 smoke alarm on every floor of your house. What I also want you to do is get your adults to test them at least once a week. If they can't get them tested once a week, then at least once a month. Now there's a special way in which we test our smoke alarms. I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute. But do I want you to test your smoke alarms yourself, Year 3? The answer is no. And the reason being, if you go and test your smoke alarm at home without your adults knowing, they could think that there's a fire. Now, when there is a fire, the smoke rises up to the ceiling, which is why we keep our smoke alarms on the ceiling. We don't have them on the floor. Smoke rises up. These little tiny circles around the edge of our smoke alarm are called our extra noses. So remember when I said when we go to sleep at night, our nose goes to sleep? We say that all these mini noses around the edge of our fire alarm, smoke alarm, picks up the smell. And once the smoke or the fire goes into the smoke alarm, into our little noses around the edge, it will then bleep. And it will sound very similar to this. Really, really loud. And the reason it's loud is because our ears do not go to sleep at night. So the minute that smoke alarm goes off, we will hear it and we will wake up. And when you wake up, I want you to go safely and quickly as you can, making sure the area around you is free from fire. And I want you to go and get your adults and make your way out of your house as quickly and safely as possible. So, following on from that, when you hear your smoke alarm go off, Year 3, I want you to remember 3 things. I want you to remember to get out, stay out, and then I want you to get the fire service out. Now we are going to watch Freddie and Filbert's fire escape plan. Freddie and Filbert go through ways in which you can safely get out of your house if a fire was to occur. So pay really close attention to see what goes on.
This is the home of Lily, Emily, and their mum and dad. They practiced an escape plan, so when a fire happened one night, they knew exactly what to do. One night, when they were all ready to go to sleep, something unexpected was about to happen in the lounge room.
Oh, a fire's starting. Won't they smell the smoke and wake up?
No, Filbert. When you're asleep, you can't smell anything, and the smoke from a fire is the most dangerous thing.
Look, it's getting into the rest of the house.
Yes, but because they closed all the doors before they went to bed, the smoke couldn't get to them so quickly. This gives them a little more time.
Enough time for something that has a sort of a nose to wake them up.
A smoke alarm! We had a smoke alarm in our house, Freddie. But why didn't it go off when the saucepan caught fire?
We did, Filbert, but I forgot to make sure it had a new battery in it, so it didn't go off when it should have.
Always make sure you or the people you live with check your smoke alarms so they work when they need to. They can really save your life.
The smoke alarm's woken Lily up.
Yes, and because they'd all practiced their escape plan, Lily knows exactly what to do. What did you do when fire broke out in our house, Filbert?
I was really scared and thought I'd hide in a cupboard or under a bed. I could have been safe there, couldn't I?
Oh, no, you wouldn't, Filbert. The fire and smoke will always find you. The only way to be safe is to get out of the house as fast as you can. That's what Lily is doing.
What's she doing now? Why doesn't she go straight through the door?
We can't see through doors, and the fire could be on the other side.
That's right. Do you remember when we were upstairs in our house, Filbert, and we went into Penelope's room by mistake? There was a big fire inside.
Yes, I almost melted with the heat.
Always test every door you come to with the back of your hand. If it is warm or hot, a fire may be on the other side, so you'll have to get out another way.
It's all right. The door was cool and safe to go through. And she's closing the door behind her.
Yes, that will make sure the room doesn't fill with smoke and will be safe to go back to if needed.
Emily! Emily, wake up! There's a fire! What's happening? There's a fire! We need to follow our escape plan! Shut the door quickly! Come on!
It's very smoky, but it seems clearer nearer the floor. Is that why Lily and Emily are crouching down?
That's right, Filbert. Smoke rises up towards the ceiling, and keeping low means that the air you breathe will be clearer. And remember, smoke is the most dangerous thing in a fire, and breathing in just a little can make you very ill.
Do you remember what it was like in our house, Filbert?
The smoke was really bad, and I was coughing all the time. We should have kept near the floor, shouldn't we, Freddie?
Lily and Emily are doing well, and they're calling to their mum and dad and heading towards their bedroom.
Smoke alarm! Wake up! Wake up! It's a smoke alarm!
Smoke alarm? Hang on. Shouldn't someone call the fire service?
No, Filbert. Don't call the fire service from inside a building unless you're trapped and cannot get out. Fire can spread very quickly, and you must try to get out as fast as you can. Call the fire service only when you are safely outside.
Wake up! The streets for the safe!
Thank you, Mum.
Remember to keep low at all times, even on a staircase.
And test each door that you come to.
They'll have to be quick. The fire's spreading fast.
Yes, but go carefully so you don't slip or fall.
Key! The key's near the door! I put it in the pot!
If you lock your front or back door, leave a spare key nearby so that you can always get out easily.
That's right, Penelope. When we got to our front door, we found it was locked and we had no way of getting out.
I'm really sorry, Freddie. I must have locked it on the way out by mistake.
We'll have to make sure there's spare keys nearby for all our doors and windows next time.
Quickly!
Phew! They've all got out safely. Now they can call the fire service using a mobile or a neighbour's phone. Remember to give them the address of the emergency so they can get to you quickly.
Fire service, please.
Fire rescue? What's the address of the emergency? 6 Meadow Place in Lincoln. What's the problem there?
My house is on fire. I need a fire engine quick.
We're on our way.
And there's the family waiting safely outside.
Tell the fire service where the fire is, and they'll know what to do. They've got lots of special equipment to protect them from the fire and smoke.
It looks like the family did just the right thing and stayed outside the house.
That's right, Freddie. You must never ever go back into a burning building for anything, not even for a pet or a favorite toy. Once you are out, you must stay out.
Even expensive things can be replaced and it's not worth risking your life for them. We've learnt that lesson, haven't we, Philbert?
Yes, we have.
Okay, year 3. So what you just watched was Freddie and Philbert's fire escape plan. Now what I'd love you to do is to go back and watch all of that all over again, because there was lots that went on there and lots of important information to teach you how to get out of a fire safely. So if you've got time, I'd love it if you press rewind now, went back and watched that video all over again. So your escape plan checklist. So going through over what Emily did with her family. Okay, so make sure if you can close your doors at night time. Now I understand, being year 3, that you may not want to shut your bedroom door, but it would be good if you could get mum, dad or your adult at home to shut every door downstairs, or maybe your lounge and kitchen door, doors that you don't have to use when you're asleep at night, because fires can be prevented from spreading for up to 20 to 30 minutes if a normal house door is closed at home. 20 to 30 minutes is plenty of time for you and your family to get out of the fire safely. Make sure your escape routes are kept clear. Please, year 3, don't put your school bags or books, piles of washing or clothes in front of your exits. Always make sure that your bedroom doors are kept clear, and ensure that your front door doesn't have big piles of shoes left at the bottom of it as well. And then if you have a set of stairs, make sure that your stairs are always clear. If there is smoke around your house, it's not going to be very clear, so you want to be able to get down safely. Make sure all keys are available. Now we don't want your keys left hanging up right next to the front door, but we want to make sure that the whole of the family know where to find your keys so that they can undo the door from the inside and again get out safely. Keep close to the floor when you are on your way out. As I told you earlier about the smoke alarms, all the bad smoke drifts up to the smoke alarm at the top, which is why the smoke alarm goes off. If you are low to the floor, it is cooler and the air is clearer. The higher you stand, the smokier and hotter it gets. So stay as low to the floor as you can to make sure that you are breathing in the cleanest air. Okay, last little bit of our lesson in year 3. So, do you know who is calling at your door? So if your doorbell rings, I just want you to think about just for a second who goes and answers your front door. Do you? And if the answer is yes, I want you to stop answering your door. Because actually, in truth, year 3, we don't always know who is knocking at our door, even if they are dressed in a uniform. If you have an older sibling at home, brother, sister, an adult at home, please let them know that someone is knocking and get them to answer the door. It is the safest way. So a checklist before answering the door. Yes, I don't mind if you peep through your bedroom window and you look outside to see who's there. I don't mind if you've got a little spy hole at the front door. I don't mind you looking through that either. Let your parent or adult know who is at the door, but do not answer it. And it's really important that you remember that, and that's why I'm telling you several times. Make sure that your adult answers the door and you don't. If it is someone you know and trust, then you may answer the door with your adult's permission. So that means that your adults check and confirm that they know who is at that front door. What does this picture mean to you, Year 3? A wolf in sheep's clothing. What does this saying mean? So here we've got Mr. Wolf dressed up in the fluff of a sheep. Is Mr. Wolf really a sheep? No, of course he isn't, Year 3. So what this picture is saying is sometimes, just sometimes, we have people that dress up and pretend to be people that they are not. And this is why we have to be really, really careful, because we know that Mr. Wolf isn't a sheep at all. Okay? So it's very important that we make sure that we always check that we know who we are talking to, or that your adults know who they are talking to. So, would you trust anybody in these pictures? Now, you might instantly look at our police officer over here dressed in uniform and go, well, actually, Laura, he's safe, I can talk to him. But you still don't know whether he is who he says he is. So the way in which your adults can check if they are unsure of who they are talking to is to ask for the person's ID badge. Now, an identification badge is what I am wearing right here. Myself and all of the other education officers that work at Essex County Fire and Rescue Service also wear an identification badge. So if I was to turn up at your school and your school just wanted to confirm that I really was who my picture and name says I am, there's a special number on the back of my ID badge. They can call that number up and they can pass my number and my name on and just make sure I am who I say I am. And this is what your adults can do. They can ring up, they can ask for the person's ID badge, ring up the company and confirm that that person is who they say they are. Thank you very much for listening, Year 3. Please remember to re-watch your fire escape plan. Please get your adults to check your smoke alarms. Remember that the fire service can fit smoke alarms for absolutely free, and you just need to visit our website to find out the number to call, and we will book you in and get smoke alarms fitted. Please go around and check all of your hazards and make sure that you know what a hazard is. Make sure you're safe at home. Please remember, don't answer the door to anybody, and the emergency number to call for a fire or for the police or any other emergency service is 999. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you soon.